Back again with another Furio Watchers video. Today I'm going to be showing you some big tracks that have used samples that you'll probably know, but also that they weren't the first people to use that exact same sample. Some big tracks on here by some big producers, but really showing you that other people have actually used that exact same sample before them in another hip hop track. Some of them you might know, especially some younger viewers may only know the newer versions of it, so it might come as a big shock to you when you actually hear that the sample was already used before. Reminder again, 5 years since I dropped my first album out on Bandcamp, so to celebrate that I'm giving it away free for a limited period. There's a link in description, you can go on, download that and keep that forever. I've got 6 albums out in total, so have a check of the others whilst you're on there. You can have a listen, and if you want to keep those albums you can buy those. So let's jump in, let's listen to the first sample.
Eardrums for one of the ruggedest raw MCs that ever blessed the mic device rhymes galore like Buster. You must have been sniffing that shit.
Yeah, the Edge sample by David McCallum. That Dr. Dre track, such a big track, but used earlier by this New York crew, Missing Links. They didn't do very much. They did a few singles, late 90s, very early 2000s. Never actually released any albums. They have worked with a few other groups as well, but not particularly well-known crew. But yeah, showing exactly that sample that Dre used, he's made it famous, year before, in 98, used by somebody else. So let's see what the next track is.
King, most definite. My little black book thicker than the Old Testament. Play for head, but the all separate.
Ronnie Foster sample. Tribe Called Quest with Electric Relaxation. Very, very well known track by Tribe Called Quest, that one. Off the Midnight Marauders album. J. Cole with Kendrick Lamar. Pretty lazy really, because it's just the exact same part of it, the exact same use. But there's a lot of people that aren't actually aware that it's a reused sample. They've not heard the Tribe Called Quest one. I'm talking mainly about younger viewers when I'm saying that. Anyone my age or older definitely going to have heard the Tribe Called Quest version. But yeah, another example, reused samples, exactly the same part of it. So let's see what's up next.
A brother one day getting out of a cop car. I know there's more to come, but the few that have so far talk to police about more than a court date. This is for the G's and this is for the hustlers. This is for the hustlers, now back to the G's. This is for the G's and this is for the hustlers.
Bernard Wright sample there, and Bernard Wright was the godson of Roberta Flack as well. So the first track, 415, group from Oakland in California. And they take the name 415 because that was the area code for phone numbers there at the time. The Snoop track, yet another example of lazy production by Dre. Not only was it used by 415, there's several other groups that had used the exact same sample earlier as well, including Ed OG and the Bulldogs. So although Dre has got some great samples, he's obviously had huge success. Many of his samples have actually reused. Other people have actually used them earlier than him.
Flushing to be exact. Yeah.
What you doing in the club on a Thursday? She said she only here for a girl birthday.
Ponderossa Twins +1. So there was actually 2 sets of twins in that, and Ricky Spicer, who was the +1. And it's Ricky Spicer that put a lawsuit out against Kanye for the unauthorised use of his voice on that track. Large Professor with the earlier version, one of my top producers, Large Professor, Really, really good albums that he's put out. Great at sampling. There's a really interesting Rhythm Roulette with Large Professor on it. I'd give that a check if you've not already. And I just like the way he's changed that vocal to say bound instead of bound. And on the Kanye track, I've never seen that many producers generally listed as production credits. 6 different people seems excessive to me, but what do I know? So let's see what's up next.
Niggas ain't eating, wanna eat what you eating on. Better hold it down to get your helmet melted off. Have you in the whip slump, leaking no type of broth.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Dre yet again, reusing a sample there. Earlier version featuring Havoc from Mobb Deep, Tragedy Gaddafi, also goes by the name Intelligent Hoodlum. He's worked a lot with Capone and Noriega. That Crack a Bottle though, very, very big track, that one with Eminem and 50 Cent on it. Just goes to show, Dre does like to reuse samples that have been used on other hip hop tracks. Let's see what the next one is.
Bonita apple rum, remember way back woo.
Jump in the Rover and come over, tell your friends jump in the GS3. I got the chronic by the tree.
Isley Brothers there. Very, very heavily sampled group. That particular track has been sampled well over 100 times. The Tribe Called Quest track wasn't even the first to use it. Audio 2 used it back in '88. Used by Roxanne Shante as well. Just a Big Popper track is probably the most famous use of it. Very big track, that one, and one of Biggie's most famous. But yet again, recycled beat from somewhere else.
You thought it was gone, well I'm right back on your ways. I'm the lower class, so I must have your cash. Hoes call me Sam, recognize who I am. That nigga who can...
They said they just wanna question you. But me and you know that once they catch you, all they do is just arrest you, then arraign you, hang you. I don't think so.
Patrice Rushen there. She put out a lot of albums during the 70s and 80s. Talented musician, she plays lots of different instruments, great voice as well. Mobb Deep track off the Infamous album, very well known track of theirs. Produced by Q-Tip under the name The Abstract and Mobb Deep. So Q-Tip did work quite a lot with Mobb Deep on that second album, on the Infamous album, but always used the name The Abstract under the production credits. So let's see what the next track is.
As I take the stage with the festive gear, I start to show off with throw your hands in the air, because the older I get, the harder I kick. Using my...
Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to your chest.
Joe Cocker sample there. A lot of people think he's American, but he's not. He was British. He was born in Sheffield over in the UK. Known for his real gritty voice. Probably best known for his Beatles cover version of With a Little Help from My Friends. Used as a theme song for the Wonder Years TV show. So I've shown EPMD there. They weren't actually even the first to use it, even though that was early. That was back in the 80s. Back in 87, Ultramagnetics used it on their track Funky. So it's been used a few different times before, yet again, Dre. Not a direct sample that Dre used. It's been replayed to sound like the original, as he does with many of his samples. But yeah, yet again, another recycle beat.
New York, I be smoking blunts. Atlanta, I be smoking blunts. Los Angeles, be smoking blunts.
Home of the original gun clappers. Home of the original gun clappers.
Jack Bruce, another British musician. He was the lead singer, bass player in the band Cream. That particular track has been sampled many, many different times in various places as well. Some big tunes have used that. Artifacts, Wrong Side of the Tracks is a good example. But Nice and Smooth use exactly the same part of it as Smith & Wesson. I think the Smith & Wesson, the Bucktown, is much better known, but year before, Nice and Smooth use exactly the same sample. That Smith & Wesson album, The Shining, really great 90s album, that one. One I really do still like listening to regularly. So, if you've not checked that album, definitely recommend that one for you. Let's see what's up next.
No more parties in LA. Please, baby, no more parties in LA. No more.
Junie Morrison, very talented musician, was in Ohio Players for a few years. Joined him in 1970 until 74 when he left to do his solo music. Kenny Dope as well, or Kenny Dope Gonzalez. He's done lots and lots of remixes over the years, different genres, a lot of house music as well as hip hop. But another example of a big tune that's using a recycled beat, the Kanye track. So that's the end of the video. Shorter one than some of my others, but I just wanted to give a few different examples of some surprising samples that you'll know from big tracks when they've actually been used already. So hope you're enjoying this series. Leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and thanks for watching.